watches do much more now than just tell time. A Laurel County woman's smartwatch helped doctors diagnose the heart issues that she'd been dealing with for years.
And new at 6, WKYT's Garrett Weimer shows us how tiny technology right there on your wrist can be good for heart health.
Scroll through, find the one that says ECG.
When Karen Combs bought a new Apple Watch last fall,
First day that I could order one, I ordered one.
it wasn't just for the upgrade.
Hold your finger for 30 seconds on the stem of the watch.
The electrocardiogram was a must-have feature.
Very easy, very painless. It's a simple procedure.
And an important one.
Normal sinus rhythm. I would almost pass out.
For the past 3 years, Combs has experienced sporadic episodes of a racing heartbeat.
That would last for about half an hour, and then I would just be physically exhausted and pretty much wiped out for the rest of the day.
Her cardiologist had been trying but unable to capture them, even with repeated ECGs in the doctor's office and entire months of using heart monitors at home.
It was 188 beats per minute.
Only after Combs got her new Apple Watch was she finally able to capture a recording and share it with her doctors.
She brought it to the office, and I was able to tell her, yeah, this is definitely SVT.
Dr. Youssef Durat used the readout from Combs' watch to diagnose her with a heart arrhythmia. That step since has allowed doctors to perform a procedure to correct it. But this isn't the only time. Dr. Durat says that same feature helped them diagnose a patient who ran the test on their own and at home. And it won't be the last.
I see a lot for this technology to be used, and I think we're just at the first few steps. I mean, we're just opening the door, and I think there's more to come with further improving this technology for the good of patients.
The ECG app on Apple Watch allows you to export a PDF of the readout so you can share it with the doctor. That means it also has practical applications for telehealth or other situations where patients can't easily get to a doctor in person.
But you could definitely feel the difference, can't you?
Since her procedure, Combs says she's not had any more episodes of her heart racing. Without her Apple Watch, she's not sure whether she could say the same.
I probably would still be going through that process of, trying to nail it down through a hospital or a heart monitor.
Instead, she's back to doing the things she loves. A big relief, thanks to a small accessory she wears every day.
I'm just thankful that something as simple as my Apple Watch helped me make that diagnosis.
In London, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.